Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So, a lot of you already know they did try to make a Mario Bros. Movie in the 90s. Most people view it as an unholy abomination.
I've seen this. It's when people were bashing the Mario Bros. Movie like off of the voices, I understood, but I watched the old Super Mario Bros. Movie and it's like an SNL skit, but like they made an SNL skit recently and it actually wasn't bad. Maybe we'll watch that after this. But the Super Mario Bros. Movie is just they had they really tried to capture the hype of the games and just could not.
I look back on it fondly. I grew up and I actually really liked that movie. I watched it a
Like
lot
the
as a
movie.
kid. I could recognize it had nothing to do with the games, but I couldn't help myself from just getting excited watching it for like the 20th time. There was something about
It's like watching a car crash. It's a B movie, maybe a D movie. It's so bad. It's like you could watch it. I guess I don't
that
know.
film that was just kind of special. It was unique and very weird. It was like a real avant-garde fever dream kind of movie.
Fever
And I
dream.
get why they stopped making movies after it because it was received so horribly and is still considered one of the worst movies ever made by a lot of people.
I think it's indicative of they've tried to make video game movies work for so long. They really have. Honestly, the first video game turned into a movie that I think was good was like not a documentary either, like an actual like just film based in the game itself. I think it was the Sonic films. I think I can't think of any video game turned into a movie that was decent before before Sonic. I'll have to think about it.
People, but I just wanted to get that out of the way right now that I still have a very soft spot for that film. But anyway, I'm glad they're trying again because, as a lot of people have mentioned, this opens up the door for Nintendo making other big budget movies on other IP they have, such as Metroid, Zelda, all of that. So they needed this
A Metroid film would be so good. A Metroid film would be so good if you could capture the horror behind it though. I think if you make a Metroid film, make it make it like mature. Make it make it so it's now I don't want to say adult. Make it so it's maybe not horror like full on horror, but at least like a thriller. At least that, you know. Maybe not as like full on like Alien, but at least because you can't do that like and just it be like super light. You know, it's gotta be something that's more aggressive. Forgot about those. Luckily, they didn't stick with the original design of the movie Sonic. Exactly. I don't know if anyone's seen it. I don't know if this probably flew under everyone's radar. But if you watch the new is it Chippendale Rescue Rangers film, the live action, semi live action film, they throw in the old design Sonic that's actually in the film, and it's very making fun of it. It has ugly Sonic, yeah, ugly Sonic in it.
one to slap. And I'm happy to say that it does slap. Now, I'm not going to tell you it's like a Vasily Kamatsky style slap where it's like unreal and it's going to rock your world or fucking shake the foundation of animated films forever, but it is good. And I want to get this out of the way right now since there's already been controversy. I don't know
I'm not gonna. This is my preemptive, like disclaimer. I like the Super Mario games. I haven't played any of the new ones. I like to play. My favorite one was Super Mario Bros. For the Super Nintendo. Maybe next is Super Mario 64. I know it's a weird audio, like order to do things. It's just the way I enjoy them. Um, I saw that the ratings on it were pretty low on Rotten Tomato. I saw the ratings were really low. I don't think this movie, with how much money they're funneling into it, I don't think this movie is going to be as bad as the ratings were saying. The ratings were like under 50%. They're like under 50%. So I personally doubt that the movie's actually that bad. I think people will judge it harshly, though, because of the IP and how big the IP is. And that's why we're seeing such low numbers. The critics will be the main tell to tell us the truth of it. Maybe it'll be worse. Maybe it'll be better. But I think that Rotten Tomatoes often will either skew it to the good or to the bad. And so I don't like to trust it 100% until the user reviews, like the actual viewers versus just the critics.
What the movie critics watched, but it certainly wasn't this film. It had like a 46% on Rotten Tomatoes yesterday, and I don't know what happened there. They must have been boofing crazy pills.
46.
That is outrageous. This is not by any means a bad movie. I wouldn't even consider it a mediocre movie. I would say it is good. Above all else, it's very fun and captures the spirit of the games extremely well. Going into this,
looking at some of the celebrities who've been talking about it, there was a part I saw with Seth Rogen saying that he was not going to change his voice. He was not going to work on his voice, change his voice for the film. He was just going to do his voice. And that was disappointing because I felt like he wasn't going to try. But then he said, I fought to get the DK rap in there. And I'm like, oh, that's big. That's iconic to the series. A lot of people remember the DK rap. So it's like, oh, okay. And then Keegan-Michael Key, who plays Toad in the film, was talking about how they changed their voice and made the voice kind of fit Toad as a character. Same thing with Jack Black. Jack Black talked about how he changed his voice to sound like Bowser should sound. I think a lot of characters tried. I think Luigi sounded decent from the trailers. That's Charlie Day. What is his name from Sunny? It seemed like he tried. The only one that people I think give a lot of crap is Chris Pratt, and Chris Pratt has a lot of bad publicity around him. But all in all, it seemed like the characters were pretty well-rounded in general. Every time I think of a critic, I think of Anton Ego, the guy from Ratatouille. And then they watch the film and they have some like flashback, you know? It's not woohoo enough for something like that. Honestly, though, the big argument I hear against him doing a full-on Mario voice is you don't want to listen to that for an hour and a half. Don't tell me what I want to listen to for an hour and a half or not. Like, you don't know what I want to listen to an hour and a half or not. Honestly. But two, I get it. Yeah, you don't want to hear just like the little voices. You want to hear what the person actually sounds like. You want the voice to be bearable. But somewhere in the middle, maybe, you know? You can still do wahoos and still have like, I don't know. You know what would have been a good mix though? An Italian American like accent. Like not full on Brooklyn, but like not also full on like the heavy accented like Born in Italy. I think that would have been cool too. It would have been neat to see, to make it like not semi-realistic but like modern, I guess.
I was apprehensive about
I don't
Chris
make
Pratt
movies.
voicing Mario. It just seemed like a pretty silly fit, and in the trailers I was less than impressed. It honestly sounded like me delivering the lines when I first woke up in the morning. So I didn't think that was going to work, but after watching the whole
It was like
film,
Mushroom Kingdom,
it seems like they really just did a
here we
montage
come.
of his worst
And
lines
that's
for the
not
trailers,
far
because
off
the
of
rest
what
of
it
it
was.
actually worked pretty well. I didn't have any like problems with Chris Pratt as Mario or any of the other voice casts for that matter, so that was a nice pleasant surprise because I expected that to be like the one thing that always rubbed me the wrong way about it, but it didn't. The film is extremely simple, which runs contrary to one of the popular reviews that said it's totally inaccessible or like hard to follow. Which
It's a first movie in what is probably going to be a big universe and series. They can make DK films, they can make Mario films, they can branch off of anything from the Mario like world and universe, from those IPs and those similar IPs that have kind of had similar games. Because technically, Mario and Sonic have had shared worlds and games, and of course DK, but anybody in the Mario Kart games is now fair game, I think, now. Yeah, Luigi spinoff with like a Luigi's Mansion. So I don't think a Mario movie should be complex by any means. It shouldn't be like heavily meta. It's going to be basic, foundational. Like it should be basic, and it shouldn't be a complex film that only like the hardcore fans understand. It's going to be something that anyone who's seen Mario is going to go, "Hey, Mario."
I'm hung up on these reviews. They've actually got me tilted. I'm fucking stun locked on how stupid some of the reviews were for this movie, and then calling it somewhat offensive.
I want to look at these reviews after this.
I really don't know what happened there. If that doesn't prove that general movie critics are pretty worthless, then I don't know what will. Calling,
You know, if you would have done an accent, that people would have probably called it offensive. If you would have done like a, people would have probably said it was offensive. That's how sensitive people can be sometimes. Like even though he's playing a character who has that voice, they probably would have given him crap about it.
Super Mario Bros. Inaccessible or confusing. It's moving on. The thing about the film is it's extremely simple and is very clearly catered towards families as opposed to like hardcore gamers, right? This is an IP that's existed for fucking 4 decades now, pretty much. So a lot.
There's one group of hardcore gamers in the Marios, and that's speedrunners, and the people who do like those hard, like the Mario Maker levels. If they snuck something into like that into the films, that would be cool as hell. I think that'd be super cool. Necessary? No. But that's the only hardcore fans, right? There's no other hardcore fans that I can think of.
A lot of the people that grew up with Mario and actively play it are adults. And this is not a film that's like geared towards them, but it is a film that they will enjoy. I am 28 years old, and I had a smile on my face a lot of times in this film. It's chock full of references and Easter eggs
Mario Kart in there.
Like, I get that one, and it's cute.
It'd be cool if they had a Smash Bros reference though in there.
For an entire family, younger audience, as well as something parents can enjoy too. The narrative is as simple as it gets. Mario and Luigi find themselves in Mushroom Kingdom, and they get split up where Luigi gets captured by Bowser, and Mario's got to free him. And through that simple premise, they go on an adventure. They meet Donkey Kong, Princess Peach, and they go to free him.
Yep.
I will say that I actually do have a complaint about the narrative. I don't really understand what the point was in splitting Mario and Luigi up for this movie. I feel like that was just kind of a misstep. I understand Peach is usually the one that gets captured.
Maybe their goal was
to want her to be captured here and have her have
start with Mario and then have a Mario Bros movie.
Then. You could still have Bowser cruise up in the goddamn fucking war island and breathe fire and everything, and that's still an imminent threat that Mario and Luigi would be motivated to stop to help people. You didn't really need Luigi to be captured. For the most part, for the majority of the movie, Luigi's just the damsel in distress fucking hanging and putting his thumb up his ass with nothing to do. Which I think kind of sucks, especially because Charlie Day's performance as Luigi was really good. He does have some moments, decent. But I just really think that was kind of a weird decision to have him be captured.
From like the one trailer I saw.
Like if you did want someone to be captured, I do think it probably should have been Peach. And if you didn't want Peach to be the one being captured, well then just don't have anyone be captured in the first place and everyone works together. You know, fucking power of friendship like animes taught us, and they go stop
Bowser
that doesn't
make
for
sense.
the good of the Mushroom Kingdom.
They definitely should have had Peach.
That would have still been just fine.
It's not bad.
It's not the biggest deal in the world, but I did find that a little stupid to have Luigi just be totally out of the equation for most of the film. But aside from that, it really does
If I had to guess, the reason why they didn't is because it would have just been the damsel in distress trope, and because it would have been too much masculine energy, I guess, and that scared them. Like if you have the Mario Bros saving the princess, it would have just been a bunch of guys, I guess. I don't know. That's stupid.
Capture the
if that's why, I don't know.
Mario shit. So there's a lot of like platforming moments where he's running like an obstacle
it's just
course, or if him and Donkey Kong are teaming up to get to a destination, they're picking up power-ups on the way, shooting the fire flower and just going kind of crazy, killing, not killing, jumping on
murdering
things,
the
them,
Turts,
kicking shells. There's even Mario Kart moments
crushing
on Rainbow
Turts.
Road, and it's all really fun, and I think it really captures that essence. and it's beautifully animated. The movie is like shockingly gorgeous.
It's like a
They
3D
did not
-esque.
cut any costs on the quality of the animation here. That really impressed me as well. Everything in the film looks amazing. Now, the next thing I'm going to compliment might
Slaughtered all
actually
of
be
his
something
enemies.
that some of you view as a problem, but I actually appreciated the pacing in that they didn't bother spending a whole lot of time fleshing out characters. The characters are super simple. Like, they don't really get much depth. For example,
These are not complex characters. Mario has never been a complex, story-rich game. It's never been that way. Let's not change that now. Bowser's doing some shit. Mario finds out about it, and then he goes around to fuck shit up. That easy.
Mario shows up to Mushroom Kingdom. He's a total fucking stranger. He's being hunted by toads. Like, he's immediately like this problem that they're trying to, you know, fucking kill and burn at the stake. You know, the demon has entered the battlefield. But then he
An
happens to
invader
run
has
into Peach
entered.
at the castle, and she's like, "Oh,
You've been invaded
human,
by
like me. All right, great. You can join me in
MAR,
my
number one,
cause
oh.
here." And that's it. Then they immediately become best friends. You know, they immediately hit it off. You know, fucking fireworks falling all over the place. They love each other immediately, and they never really
Dark Souls reference. Let's
bother
go.
exploring like their relationship or even like how they feel a lot of the time. It's just very surface level, and I like that because I've never played a Mario game for the story. I don't think there's many people in the world who have.
No.
It's all just about fun. So the film just being pretty short and very focused on like action and platforming and Mario references.
It doesn't need to be
and
realistic.
fights and
It doesn't have to be
fucking
story driven.
karting, I think it's for the best as opposed to bothering
Does it check
with, like,
all the
this,
boxes that we expect
you know,
in a Mario game?
20-minute scene building up, you know, Mario, his dad being disappointed in him, which is a plot point, but it's not something they harp on. It's something he mentions one time, and then it's like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You know, maybe your dad's right. Maybe you are a disappointment. And like, oh, no, I'm not. Let's drop it. And then they drop it, and they don't bother, like, really getting deep into it. And that's good. Like, you have these little, like, sprinkled in moments
Maybe
of
you are a
character development, but
disappointment? Hold
nothing
on.
too heavy-handed.
What kind of Mario games are we
because the
playing?
film didn't need it. That wasn't the primary focus. So, for a lot of people, I do think that'll be a complaint. For me, I actually preferred it. Because, I wasn't going to this movie for some kind of wild narrative that was going to have me tearing up.
Nope.
Yeah, I just wanted something fun. And that's exactly what they delivered. Also, hats off.
And that's exactly what the Sonic film was. Sonic film, we saw Dr. Eggman. We saw Sonic run. We saw, and it was very sassy, you know, like very, very humorous. And he ate chili dogs. Like, the whole thing with the rings and the universes and whatnot, I don't care. I don't care. Like, is he running fast? Does he got his shoes? You know, like that's the most important things. And then the second film had even more of that stuff. So
Off to the music, it was really nice seeing
speed.
some of the most famous, iconic Mario tunes come to life in this film, and even fit in different ways was very fun. But this is actually something I heard Chris Stuckman mention. This rubbed me the wrong way as well. There's a lot of moments of like 80s rock in here for some reason, which makes no sense. Fucking AC/DC Thunderstruck playing out of nowhere, or them running around to Beastie Boys.
yeah, it doesn't make any sense. I don't even think that's the right era. Is it? Is Mario that era of music? I don't think so, right?
I don't know what the thought process was there. It really doesn't work at all. Like, even if you're a huge fan of those songs,
Just
seeing
play
them in
the
this movie,
Super
it's like,
Mario
oh,
songs.
that's not hype. That's just fucking weird.
And
Almost
then
feels
just
like
kind of
watching some
revitalize
kind of,
them, make
like,
them a little bit
YouTube
more
AMV
modern.
where they try and like make a song like
Make it
that
an
fit the
EDM song
atmosphere, and
out of the Mario
in this
song.
one,
I
it
don't
just
care.
didn't work successfully. But when they actually
1985.
have
Maybe
like
it was
the
then.
Mario music that they've composed in different ways, it works very well. So they should have just sidelined that whole like 80s rock thing they toyed around with here. That probably shouldn't have made the final cut. But yeah, anyway, I just really don't have a whole lot of complaints about the film at all. Plugging Super Mario Bros. Movie into the moist meter, I'm going to give it a nice 80%. I think it's a lot of fun, and that's all you should really expect going into it. It's nothing
80%.
amazing. It's nothing that's going to blow you away, but you're going to have a fun time watching the film, and it really does feel like watching the game come to life. So I think they did a great job with it, and I'm hopeful that they'll continue to do this with other property. Most of you know, we started our own comic book series called Godslap. Everyone who's read Godslap so far has unanimously agreed that it's the best comic ever produced, and Godslap is well on its way to becoming the biggest name in all of comics, overthrowing Marvel within the next 5 years, according to recent scientific projections that I'm pulling out of my ass. It's a passion project created by myself, Jackson, Danny, and Matt, and we brought in an industry veteran named Aubrey Sitterson to help write it with us, and we're extremely proud
Yeah,
of what
give him the
we've
credit.
created.
It was a good video.
Issue 1 and 2 are
It was
already
really
out,
good.
and issue 3 came out today, as of right now.
It was nice to hear like a real positive like bit.
3 is available at godslapbook.com. And per usual, this is the standard cover, but we also have 2 limited edition variants, which will only exist until they're sold out, and then they'll never be reprinted. So they're available at godslapbook.com.
All right. I thought that was really good. I thought that was really well done. I think that it's nice to hear that the film is decent. You know, like I feel like people are giving it not enough credit because it doesn't fill all the boxes that people want to see in a modern film. People want to see, you know, female empowerment. People want to see diversity. People want to see I don't know, pop culture references, etc. I don't think that the thing is that's not what's in the game. Like it would make it what the game is not about. And I think that would detract from what the game or from the movie if you were to do those things. And that's probably why we're getting such heavy criticism, because it doesn't fill those boxes in the way. Pop culture references, I guess in this case, I would think of like Ralph Breaks the Internet. Like that one was like, it's like they're going on Google, and the references like are all there, YouTube references and whatnot. Like it's like not making enough modern day references, I guess. You know, I guess I don't really know what a movie critic looks for, but if I had to guess why movie critics are judging it so harshly, it's because it doesn't really have diversity. It doesn't really have female empowerment and stuff like that, because it's literally the whole game is about saving the princess. But this is not what it's about. Like you don't have to get that from every film. You don't have to pigeonhole a film into going like, well, it's not good because it doesn't fill all the boxes that I want to see in a film. That's like playing a Dark Souls game and going, well, this game doesn't have choices to be good or evil. It's like, what? Like this, like why do we have moral choices in this game? Like I guess you can make choices. Like not every game has to have that, and not every movie game has to have all the references that you connect with. I want to look at some of these reviews though to see why maybe they're so harsh. Rotten Tomatoes. People say it's not accessible. What does that even mean? What does not accessible movie mean? It's at 53%, so it's gone up a little bit. Audience scored at 96%. Jeez Louise. $146 reviews. All right. The theatrical experience of watching Super Mario Bros. Movie is essentially like playing the game without the inconvenience of actually having to play the game. It comes with the charm of an unplugged Game Boy. All the charm of an unplugged Game Boy? Does he like the roof? Does he like it or not? What? Wait, who has a... Wait, we don't plug in a Game Boy. They're wireless. What the fuck is this guy talking about? While working in the broken water main... Oh, wait, I don't want to read that. There are questions to have while reviewing a movie inspired by a video game. Is it good because it remains faithful to the game, or is it successful because it transcends the game and embraces the big screen? If you answered yes to the former and no to the latter, you may enjoy the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Why does it need to transcend fucking anything? Oh my god, I'm not going to read the rest of this. The gorgeous visuals perfectly capture vast video game levels with a sense of grandiosity and awe. The jokes aren't half bad either, but once the film has raced by, the whole spectacle feels empty and safe. IP management at its most careful and bland. It doesn't have to do insane stuff. You're asking a lot for just like what it's just asking. It's just, what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do? Exactly. That transcends, like, oh, that's up to them, but what standard is this? All we need is a legitimate story to flesh out among the colors. Maybe next time. That's just nothing. It's all dispiritingly rote, aside from the burst of weird vitality when the film veers into the action out of the games. Why? Why does it need to veer out of the games? Why? Why? For what reason? For what reason does it need to do that? This isn't a movie, it's a checklist of fan expectations. Exactly! That's exactly what the film needs to be. Why would it need to be anything else? It's a checklist. You check the boxes. It's like these guys have when these guys watch a TV series, they want to watch it from episode 5 and understand what's going on. You have to have an episode 1. Like, you know how like when an anime starts or like when a TV series starts and it's not good till season 2? You got to have a shitty season 1 sometimes, because sometimes it's important to have a shitty season 1 that explains the shit. That way when you have episode 2 and 3, you're like, "Oh yeah, I get it cuz episode 1." Like, what? It narrowly misses being a list of fan winks. Okay, yeah, that's the same thing. Okay. The glib literalism, y'all, fucking just explain shit in plain English. Holy fuck. The glib literalism with which it applies cinematic narrative to video games abstractions can't hold a candle to the wrenching pathos and self-discovery of a night on the track with a real-life loved ones and Mario in his original medium. It doesn't compare to the enjoyment of the games. That's what I got from that. I don't fucking know. Mamma mia. The narrative is very thin. Mario and Luigi have not much personality beyond the cliches. Watching a film about the game, this is very different from playing the game. No shit. No shit, it's different than the game. But want to know why? Because it's not a game. It's not a video game. It's a fucking movie. Justice for Bob I don't even fucking know what that is. While the details, oh wait, maybe that's the original Mario. Who voiced the original who's Bob Hoskins? Let's look. Oh, the old Mario film. That's right, from the original Mario film. That's right. Okay. That makes sense. If he's judging it based off of the cult classic, then actually level with that. That's funny. While the details are meticulous, the attitude is all wrong, trading the simple, unaffected charm that has served the character so well since its introduction for a snarky and fatuous air that leans hard on winking humor. Trading the simple, unaffected charm. Did you mean the simple, unaffected charm of wahoos or yahoos? What the fuck? Oh, they said more than ha, and I didn't like it. What are these reviews? I swear. It's pitched to diehard fans. No, it's not. I'm not reading the rest of this. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is a narrative failure. There's too little to no emotional connection between the characters and their plight, motivations, and ultimate objectives. Here's the objective. Save Luigi. I figured it out for you. Easy. With its suffocating reverence to its source material, the Super Mario Bros. Is unfathomably incapable of guile. It doesn't even feel fair to judge it as a movie because it does not even feel like one. It feels like a feature-length ad for Nintendo. Why do you think this fucking movie was made? Why do you think any movie is made? That it's like a transfer. It's any movie that's made from a book. Any movie that's made from anything that's not like original material, like it's movie. It's the fucking point. The point of it is this is the feature-length version of the thing we're selling. Hopefully doing this will help sell the thing, that the other thing. You know? Beautifully animated, it's about as faithful and affectionate as a corporate cash-in is possible to get. Of course it is. What is any film? It makes lots of noise and has tons of antic action, but possesses zero charm, being notable mostly for its chilly efficiency. So saying that it doesn't really commit to any sort of, like, I guess, point, which is superfluous. I'll use a big word. A movie that's hollow as a trailer, something that willfully avoids anything creative or ambitious. If you watched a trailer for the Super Mario film and you were expecting something besides the traditional, like, Mario film, I don't know what to tell you, really. It's a brand extension with only vacuous and insincere things to say, designed to set children in search of dopamine hit recognition. You're so far from the point. You're so far from the point that you literally comparably put this to a fucking mobile game. So far from the fucking point. Super Mario Bros. Movie is a big studio filmmaking at its worst. It's a kid's film that tries to pack in as many Easter eggs as it can, but it forgets to inject any wit or fun into its plot. If you think this film was for kids, you're wrong. I think. If you think it was for kids, you're wrong. I don't think the Sonic film was for kids either. It's not. It's for adult nostalgia. Like, yes, children can watch it. Yes, children can enjoy it. Yes, children will get the references of the world, but I think it's for adults mostly. It's a children's film in the sense that, yeah, it's a children's film in the sense that it's not going to be incredibly complex. I agree with you there. Because I don't disagree with you, Nike. I think it is, in a way, it's a children's film. It's a children's film in some ways. It's for adults because adults are supposed to get all the wink references, and then like it's for kids because kids can watch it. I don't know. Sailing on the cheap, inflatable raft of nostalgia, the Super Mario Bros. Movie feels like a cinematic tutorial on how to play the game than a fully realized film. This person has never played a video game in their life. Never. Never. Despite its vivid, colorful aesthetic and appeal to those of a younger age, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is devoid of panache and cleverness of previous Illumination efforts. Do you mean the fucking Minions movies? Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. The Super Mario Bros. Movie is mostly just a kid-friendly commercial for the video games. Yes. And if you want to see basic animated film for kids, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, I suppose, will suffice. But if you're hoping for something fresh, exciting, creative, or funny, I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. Could you look elsewhere, please? The only limit to the imaginative potential of the Super Mario Bros. Movie is what the filmmakers bring to it. Their imaginations, unfortunately, are very limited. You know what? Their imaginations are pretty limited. I think in the scope of what you can do with the very first Super Mario film, you have to play it safe. Because if the film is bad, there will be no more. And that is what a lot of people are missing. Not every film can be Avatar. And what people forget about Avatar is people called it Dances with Wolves for the longest fucking time. That it referenced another film and was just like it. So if you're gonna have a film, it's gonna have to stand on something. This one stands on the games. And if you want to have other films, it has to have a strong foundation. A strong foundation does not reach. It builds it safely upon itself and upon something strong. You want to build it on sand so it has one maybe super good film, but has nowhere to go because there's nowhere to top that. Every film consecutively is bad after that. It's like having a Disney film all the straight to DVD films were maybe adequate, but usually worse. That's the kind of film that these people are expecting. With tons of bright, flashy colors, spectacular animation, and an impressive cast of voices, Super Mario Bros. Movie should have turned out much better. That just seems super generic. People say flashy colors like it's something like bad. Like, there's colors in the film, guys. There's colors in the film. It's an animated fucking film, yeah. I could list numerous examples of how the gags and references distract you and detract from the story, but let's face it, people care more about a YouTuber's 100 Easter eggs you missed from the Super Mario Bros. Movie designed to please the content gods. So you want to tell me that this person is actually upset that in a movie that everyone else claims is really simple, they're going to be upset that they hid some complexity into the films to make the super fans feel like they have something for them, something to look forward to. Are you fucking serious? I'm blown away. You have a Lego profile picture? I'm not looking at your review. The internet was right. Chris Pratt is all wrong as a title character in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Maybe. Yeah, I could see that. Mildly amusing, swift, noisy, and unrelentingly paced. The fast pacing, I get it. Sadly, the fun is far too limited to the sugar high variety. It's an animated film. The Minion films came before this. What did you expect? It is disappointing that the Super Mario has not only been reduced and molded to fit the unambitious and lackadaisical Illumination brand, but is also generic and soulless, speedrunning through as much fan service as possible. Yes. Continue. All these tomatoes are making me hungry. Oh my gosh. Gradually, the very skewing aesthetic, which might have been perfectly fine and acceptably silly for its intended audience, gives way to a mess of a movie that becomes increasingly dark and destructive. I think you're reading too much into it. The Easter eggs were clearly made and placed with love. Okay. But the movie is just a collection of Easter eggs and references in the search of a story. If you went to a Mario movie in search of a story, you're in the wrong film. Like you're watching the wrong film. There's never been a story. Never been a story. The game is based on a trope.